No better feeling than being victorious, and that's exactly how Duke football is feeling after last night's season opening victory over Elon.
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man. The Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is J.J. Jackson. It's so great to have you here with us today on Friday, August 29th, 2025. Locked On Blue Devils is your one-stop shop where we discuss everything going on inside the life of Duke athletics. And on today's show, we dive deep into Duke's win last night over Elon to open up this 2025 season. What a special performance it was from Darian Mensah, the new Duke quarterback. We'll get into that and so much more with our pal Conor O'Neill, who's here from Devils Illustrated. If you have not done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Be sure to also leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Make sure that you take this opportunity to watch us each and every day on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, share it with your friends, as once again, your support of Locked On Blue Devils means so much to us with what we're doing. Follow us on X at LO_Blue Devils. I'm on X at _JJ_Jackson_. And then also you can find the show on Instagram and TikTok. Really proud of the work and content that we're putting out and want you guys to be a part of the journey here with Locked On Blue Devils. So without further ado, the aforementioned friend of the program, Conor O'Neill, joins me fresh off Duke's season opening 45-17 win over Elon. Happy Friday to you, Conor. Football officially is back in the ACC there in the state of North Carolina, and Duke is officially back in the win column. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, about to slap myself in the face here a couple times to wake up a little bit, but yeah, good. It was probably a later night than needed to be in the press box, but
yeah, all things considered, man, it's a Duke team that finds themselves victorious, and certainly some highs, some lows. Some big picture takeaways that you could have for this one for Duke ahead of week 2, where the Blue Devils take on Illinois, and what's going to be a massive test for Manny Diaz's bunch. But just big picture, I think so many people in the football world wanted to see, okay, Duke football, you spent big money trying to get this quarterback into your program. What exactly does this look like? And what does he do? Oh, I don't know, 27 of 34, 389 yards, 3 scores. I don't know how you could ask for much more from Mr. Mensah.
Yeah, it was impressive. Doesn't even seem to rise to the level. Now, it obviously comes with a caveat. I mean, they're going to play better defenses. They're going to play better defensive backs. All of those yards are not going to be available for him for the next 11 games. But I said it going into the week or going into the game. It felt like he checked every single box of what you would want from a college quarterback. Like he's been out front with being interviewed and doing all kinds of media stuff and outreach stuff. We know his story, not just the fact that he's getting paid a reported $4 million for this season. It had gotten to the point where it's like, okay, let's actually go out and see him throw a football for Duke. We've seen so much of everything else other than what actually matters in the grand scheme of things, and he did not disappoint. I think the only thing missing was him running the ball. I expected at least a run or two, and honestly, I think I have a little soapbox tangent that I could get on about whether teams actually like bottle up their playbook and don't show everything in the season opener against an FCS team. But I do think, kind of going against my own theory there, Duke didn't have him running many RPOs because they don't want to show that before the Illinois game. And I think that'll show up in the next, I mean, it's got to show up in the next few games, because as we talked about, Duke jumps right into the deep end of the pool here.
Yeah, all things considered, it could be a good strategy play that we see from time to time. You don't want to show Illinois everything to prepare for and whatnot. Mensah himself, again, we saw him publicly at ACC kickoff, and he's in front of the media talking so much. But it's the first chance you really got to see him in the full Duke uniform and pads. And just remind you again, he is a little more physically imposing than you expect when he's just walking around in everyday life.
Yeah, he's just, what do they have him listed at, like 6'2" or 6'3",
Right.
maybe 210 or 220. I mean, he can take a hit. I think he got sacked twice. I don't ever remember him being slow to get himself off the ground. He's just, he checks all the boxes of what you want in a college quarterback. And more than anything, it's the accuracy, and it's the ability to make plays on the run. And I thought there was a nice little wink from Jonathan Brewer having his first throw be a rollout to the left, not even going to the strong hand where it's easier to throw. He's going left, and he squares his shoulders and hoots Cooper Barkate. God, I still want to say Barkate. Cooper Barkate over the middle for like a 30-yard gain. And you got the sense early that it could be a special night, and then he just kept piling up yards and yards.
Yeah, and I thought also when you look at the passing performance, it's got to be two-sided. You've got to obviously have, I guess you could go three if you wanted to, with the pocket being there, the offensive line holding up and putting you in a good position. And then also you look at what the receivers are able to do for Duke football. What a performance it was for that unit as they were working with Mensah. So, yeah, just overall, a strong performance it was from those receivers to help Mensah look so great.
Yeah, and along the same lines of needing to see Darian Mensah and hearing about him. I mean, we saw Mensah in the spring game. We didn't even see Cooper Barkate in the spring game. He didn't get there until June. So it's really impressive for him. Picked up a lot of yards after the catch, 117 yards on 5 catches. If you got a guy that's giving you almost, was about 25 or
23.4 is officially what it was.
Jonathan Brewer, Darian Mensah, Manny Diaz, everybody signs up for that on the dotted line for the next 11 games right now. I've been banging the Quayshawn Brown drum for quite a while, and it was, it's always good to see your predictions come true. It makes you know that you're not a complete idiot, just kind of an idiot. So I was really happy to see him kind of bust loose. He had games last year where he'd have less than 10 yards a catch because it was all just quick passes and quick screens, and it's almost like he was a running back just getting the ball on the perimeter. I do think he has more of that game-breaking ability where you get him in the open field and he can make plays. And another caveat, it's Elon. It's the season opener. Special teams breakdowns happen in season openers more often than it feels like the other however many weeks in a season. See the big kickoff return Duke gave up as evidence of that. But it was a great read on the punt return, and he found leverage and found blocks, and there he went. And that's the other thing. I think I'll have a story coming about this in the next day or two. Duke has so many weapons offensively, and it's not like they were completely reliant on Jordan Moore and Eli Pankel last year. Like Samir Higgins and Quayshawn Brown had good games. It just feels like they have a lot more balance, and they have a lot more versatility in the weaponry. Like the only thing that's really missing is a big bodied receiver who can go win like physical point of attack match, those physical balls. I think they kind of have that with Cooper Barkate. He just isn't big and physically imposing, but I think he's a physical enough wide receiver that can go up and win some balls. I think Samir Higgins has proven he can do it. He did on the fade to the front corner of the end zone. So throwing to tight ends, throwing to running backs out of the backfield. Nate Shepard's first snap is a 20-yard catch and run. So they've got a lot of options in the backfield and at the receivers.
Good stuff for Duke. 27 completions for Darian Mensah to 10 different receivers. Again, Quayshawn Brown, 6 for 93, had the big punt return touchdown, and then Samir Higgins, 5 catches for 54 yards, but 2 of those 5 catches found himself in the end zone. Pretty good day there for Mr. Samir Higgins. All right, we'll step aside for our first time out here on the show. When we come back, what about the defense? We'll dive into that unit for Duke in just a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at Upside. Hey, Duke fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use our limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using our limited time promo code FOOTBALL for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. Promo code FOOTBALL. Again, offers may vary by location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Upside is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. A winning feeling today for Duke football, 1-0 on the season after a defeat of Elon. Last season's opener saw Duke win 26-3. This season, the Blue Devils win 45-17. So Duke scored more points. That also means they gave up more points to Elon. This is a game that at halftime, Connor, was tied at 10. And I'm sure people across America were kind of scratching their heads a little bit. Wow, this one's a little even. Let's talk defense now.
Yeah, it was not, obviously it wasn't as good of a performance against Elon last year as last year. I'm torn between, there were a couple things mostly to do with tackling and stuff that happens in a game one. And then there might be a little bit of legitimate concern in some other spots. Maybe the worst play for the defense was the third and forever draw play that gave up 44 yards. There was some bad tackling in the middle of the field.
And third and 20, yeah.
Yeah, and like, granted, some of that is going to happen in a game one. These guys, I think in fall camp now, you only live tackle 3 times. And as Manny is quick to point out to us every time that the subject comes up, they don't get a preseason game. Right. So they're tackling each other all the time, or the little time that they get. You're just going to have some rust defensively in that game one. That's why as kind of as laissez-faire as it seems when a team opens with an FCS game, it's almost better to get that one out of the way in the first one, because you have that much more margin for error against a team that's not going to have the depth that you have, not going to have the top end talent that you have. So that 44-yarder was tough. I will point out, like, Duke had some backups in the game at that point. They were rotating. They're going to rotate, like we saw it last year. They're going to rotate, especially in early season games. They're going to try to get these first and second year guys that are immediate backups experienced and valuable reps. Elon tried to run the same play, I think, early in the second half when Duke still had its starting defense in, and it got stuffed. The drive that would concern me is the one they had in the second half for the touchdown. That one had 2 third down conversions, and I think the fourth down conversion was the touchdown on the little jet sweep. I think it was about a 3-yard touchdown to make it 24-17. That one, that's the one you're kind of scratching your head. Elon had a new coordinator. They have a new quarterback. Duke, I'm sure, scouted the hell out of what the new coordinator did at his previous stop. Probably you have to look at high school film of the quarterback, because he played in like 4 games last year and just ran the ball, and he's a redshirt freshman. There's some mystery in the first half. So it wasn't surprising to me to see Duke in the first half give up a drive or two. Like that, it's not one of those things that should happen, but when it does happen, you're not shocked by it just because of the newness of it. Once you get in the halftime locker room, once you've been able to see them for a half, and they still put up a drive on you, and they still convert 3 conversions on you, that one's concerning. That one's the one that you need to dive into the tape and figure out, okay, what went wrong here? I think the first 3 big plays of that drive were all passes to the tight end. So that one needs some introspection on what happened.
Yeah, I look at it, and the numbers, like you said, are a little eye-opening. Just in the 8 for 17 on third down, just at a school like Elon, an FCS opponent at that, is able to convert 8 different third down opportunities against your squad. 14 first downs, and then 275 total yards, 112 of those through the air, and then rushing 163 yards. I know that you were all over this last year. Elon couldn't run the ball on Duke at all. And then, as you pointed out on Twitter last night, Connor, during the game, by halftime, they had already more than surpassed that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of it was what's the word for this? I think part of it is some realization on Elon's part too of, hey, they sacked us 8 times last year. We're not dropping back on every passing down and just waiting for them to come get us.
Yeah.
That clearly did not work last year. Elon was very aware that Duke has 3 starting defensive linemen back this year with VJ, Wes Williams, and Aaron Hall. They were not going to make the same mistake twice. So I think part of it is like, as much as people don't ever want to give the FCS program credit, I think you do give them credit for saying, like, yeah, you're not going to beat us into the ground and have us moving backward every single series. And Duke's 3 sacks all came on third downs of the first 3 drives. So after those first 3, they didn't have a sack for the rest of the night. And I really think that was a conscious effort on Elon's part of saying, like, no, you're not going to do that to us again. We're not going to have 76 lost yards on sacks. But on the other hand, like, that's something that Duke will have to evaluate. Duke will have to evaluate if the chances were there to create chaos. There's one scramble that comes to mind I think it was late third quarter on that touchdown drive in the second half, that whoever the far side defensive end was kind of lost contain, and all of a sudden Landon Clark, the Elon quarterback who was mobile all night, has a free lane on like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 to escape out of the pocket. And because your defensive end lost the rush lane, the only person who can try to get to him is Josiah Green, the transfer from Dartmouth, who I thought played a really good game, running down a quarterback in leverage who's escaping the pocket. I don't think that's his game. So it'll take, every coach will say there are plenty of lessons to be learned in game 1. And I think that's a big one for Duke's defense.
No doubt. Again, for Elon, 17 points on the board. Landon Clark, their quarterback, had a little edge to him, a little moxie, was a feisty player, which was kind of fun to watch, and being able to see him put on that performance. But Duke ultimately stood tall down the stretch. They were able to make some big-time plays. They walk away victoriously. Last angle to kind of look at, just as an overall review of this, would be special teams for Duke, where you saw Todd Polino go 1 for 2 on field goal attempts, made a 41-yarder, missed a 44-yarder. Then you saw Cade Reynoldsson only have to punt once, which is awesome. You'd love to see that number stay low. And then Duke obviously had the massive punt return for a touchdown, did give up a big kickoff return to Elon, like we talked about. So in some ways, super bright spots, some not so great stuff, a little bit of a mixed bag there as a whole with special teams.
Yeah, to go in order, it was good to see Todd Polino make the second one.
Yeah.
Like, and it was, I think it was in the same quarter too. I think both of them were in the first quarter.
And again, the distance was pretty even. I mean, 44 to 41. It was like pretty much same spot and drill it.
I think it was just different hash, right?
Yeah.
Like the one he made was on the right hash. The one he missed was on the left.
On the left, yep.
And those left hash kicks, sometimes they just drift on you. That's what it looked like. I think I saw one replay of it. It looks like it just kept drifting right and went right in front of the upright. I mean, you don't want to see it. I know it's a sticking point for Duke fans that he missed some kicks last year that were in pretty big spots. You're going to miss kicks. I mean, sometimes it is that simple. This one didn't cost Duke anything other than people getting upset about him not converting points on Duke's first drive of the season. To throw one in there that you didn't mention, JJ, they took Peyton Jones took 2 kickoffs out of the end zone that didn't reach the 20. And I know what they're trying to do. I know one of them, Anderson Castle, had a great tackle.
Winning plays, though, yeah.
You never want your running back making a great tackle on your own returner. But, man, you get the ball for free at the 25. And it didn't seem to me like they were line drive kicks. Like, all these returners are trained now to time them in their head. And if the hang time is so long and or so short and it's deep, then it's advisable to bring it out. I didn't get that sense that either one of them was like that. I think it was just Peyton Jones trying to make a play. I think probably the coaching staff trying to see what they had on kick return. But I mean, like I said, you get the ball at the 25. It's such an advantage. And it's sometimes so hard to get to the 25. The kickoff return Duke gave up. I mean, you never want to give up a 40-plus yard return, especially after you just scored. They had it bottled up. It was not a broken play. It was just one guy missing a tackle.
Yep.
At least that was my view. I didn't watch a replay of it yet.
Yeah, just a small crease and went right where you needed to be.
There was just they had it lined up, and they had it to where it was going to be a tackle inside the 25, if not the 20. And it was just one guy missed. And that's that play. If one guy doesn't do his job correctly, it's an explosive going the other way. And so that one, I'm hesitant to really sound the alarms about special teams being a problem all year, just based on that play. The other thing to remember with special teams is, maybe we should have talked about this a little more in the past week or so. You think about Duke's depth, like in the starting positions, they've got a lot of experienced players. I think just about every single starter last night was in at least his third year of college football. The depth behind them is all really young. Like, we talked about this on the offensive line. We've also, you've got running backs. Nate Shepard's going to play a role. You've got receivers like Kayvon Simmons, Chase Tyler's a second-year guy. Linebacker is another spot, like past Nick Morris, Trey Freeman, and kind of Luke Murgott. You've got a bunch of young guys. Safety, you've got 2 really experienced guys and then 2 freshmen backing them up. All the positions that you rely on for special teams plays have young guys backing them up, and backups are typically the ones that play on special teams. So Duke is putting kickoff coverage, punt return, all those units have these guys that were playing those roles for the first time in a game last night.
Right. So
it's good to get those mistakes out now. You don't want to make them next week when it's Illinois, and instead of a 46-yard kick return, it could be a 100-yard kick return. But that's just something to keep in mind with special teams. It's going to be a lot of young guys this season for Duke. Like, there's not going to be the Ivy League transfer from Yale who has been playing on special teams for 4 years. They don't have those types of guys this season.
So there you go. There's a little bit of a review there from special teams with Duke, an area where they could improve some things. Same with defense. Same with, we've talked a lot of positive things for the Duke football squad, but obviously they got to clean some stuff up ahead of next week's test against Illinois. And that will be the final topic of conversation here next. Locked On Blue Devils today is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. College football is back, and we couldn't be more excited. Tailgates, rivalries, energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless waiting queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout, all the things you hate. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives you the advantage back. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I've been able to pull it up, and I'm seeing amazing deals. We've got college football tickets for Duke at Illinois next week, right now available over at Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Game Time is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. Okay, final segment today. Conor O'Neill is here with us from Devils Illustrated talking about this Duke football win, 45-17 over Elon. This whole offseason, we talked a lot offensively about Duke running the football in 2024 and how that left so much to be desired. I think you could pretty much say a lot of the same last night. I mean, they just weren't really explosive, major, frequent rushing attack plays for the Duke offense. Mensah was great through the air, but certainly that's one thing to look at offensively is, can you be a little bit more balanced? Can you be a little bit more dynamic? What did you make of that unit as a whole?
I thought it was better than last season's opener. It would have been hard to be worse. I think when you have a 63-yard run from Anderson Castle, I thought that came in a big moment. I think the 32-yarder by Jaquez for the first touchdown of the night was a big moment. Yep. That was more of when Manny Diaz talked to us and would mention he wants to hit some doubles and triples, not just, it'd be great to just hit singles. Like, he didn't feel like they even hit enough singles last year in the run game to be efficient. That was either a triple or a home run, 32 yards for a touchdown. Yes, you wanted to see a little more explosiveness out of it, but at the same time, I think one of those things is going to be your stronger point of the offense. You're either going to pass the ball better than you run the ball, or you're going to run the ball better than you pass the ball.
Fair.
Last year was obviously passing. 2 years ago, it was obviously rushing. I like where their offense is based on last night. Like, I think their rushing game was good enough to be complementary of their passing attack. I put this on my board just a few minutes ago. It feels like we're going to run into the same conversations that we were having last year, where we're asking, Jonathan Brewer and Manny Diaz, you only had this many rushing yards. Why can't you run the ball? They're going to tell us, well, their runs are sometimes screen passes and the quick passes and the short pass, and that yes, those get recorded as passes, but they're really runs. In their mind, it's like handing the ball off. You can go back and forth on the accuracy of that, how it gets recorded.
And if you're throwing the ball well, there's not, if you're moving the chains, you're moving the chains, no matter how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, how many times in baseball do we look at pitchers throwing the same pitch? It's like, well, if guys can't hit it, why do something different?
Yep.
Change only when you have to change.
Yep.
So I get it. I tend to lean toward the other side. I think their running game was pretty good. Somewhere between pretty good, okay, and all right. If you bundle all those up, that's how I would describe it.
We'll see how it improves, and we'll see, what this passing game is able to do. And again, if it continues to be so great, not as much of a focus there rushing. You're right. There were the two big plays, a 63-yarder, a 32-yarder, 2 carries there for 95 total of the bunch. What people would then say is, well, you got 23 carries that resulted in 64 yards if you take out those 2 plays, which is only 2.7 a carry there, and certainly hear that. At this point, we're getting nitpicky over a 45-17 win. I want to move on from that, Conor, and just look at going into week 2, Illinois, just the big thoughts that Duke has right now. They've got this whole weekend in front of them before they start game week prep. What does this look like? Yeah,
I mean, it was pretty clear last night, even in the post-game interviews, they were already on it. Cooper Barkate I don't think he was making a joke. Somebody in the room took it as a joke, and it got weird in the interview process. But they're on to Illinois. Like they're moving forward. Darian Mensah mentioned something about he was glad they got adversity because they've got a big time game next week, and next weekend they're going to get adversity against Illinois. Like Illinois will make some plays on Duke. It's going to be about how Duke responds to that, and how Duke responded to Elon being tied with them at halftime 10-10 to Elon scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it 24-17 and apply a little game pressure there. Duke's response was really strong. So that's got to continue into next weekend and obviously the rest of the season. There's also, it was interesting talking to Aaron Hall about this. It's a little bit of a weight that gets lifted with the first game of the year. Like there's so many butterflies. There's so much stuff that goes, they spend 8 to 9 months gearing up for this season. And this is the start of it. And once you get past it, it frees you up a little bit. Yeah. And it doesn't go for every team. It doesn't go for every player. But I did get that sense last night talking to Aaron Hall, talking to Mensah. Like, okay, they got game one out of the way. Like, they're never going to have season opening jitters this year again because it happened.
It's gone.
So I get the reasons you would have to be a little discouraged at certain points, certain parts of last night's game. I kind of think all of that can be pushed to the side, addressed, moved past pretty quickly. And I think this is going to be a better football team in week 2 than it was that we saw last night.
Yep, and plenty of things to be excited about and optimistic for. So big win for Duke, and now into the weekend, plenty of great college football games that we'll now be able to watch without the stress, the whatever emotions Duke fans feel when these football games are playing out for the Blue Devils. So super excited about that, and I know that Devils Illustrated, part of Rivals and On3, you've got a million different things going right now with game coverage and getting set for week 2, Connor.
Yeah, on3.com/sites/devils-illustrated/ or just go to duke.rivals.com. It'll still take
all the same.
So
yep.
Go check it out. Good recaps up of last night and join in the discussion.
Thanks for doing this, Connor. We'll talk next week, okay?
Thanks, JJ.
Conor O'Neill joining us here from Devils Illustrated, talking about the Duke football win that they had over Elon. That'll do it for our show here today. That does it for another week of Locked On Blue Devils. Enjoy Labor Day weekend, my friends, and we'll be back next week to get you set for Duke football at Illinois and plenty of more basketball conversations coming your way as well. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you on Monday. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.